It's July the 3rd, 2011, and it's 5 to 6 a.m. I'm filming the lights that I see, the red lights where the spaceship-like looking object is at night. And now I don't see that, but I see a lot of strange lights, and it's daytime. There is no these are not for planes or anything, and they're still glowing bright, and they're not intermittent as if you would have it for a plane or anything like that. And these are very strange lights, and they're either on those buildings or they're right next to them. So this is daytime. I'm going to back off a little bit. It's an awful lot of lights on that building, on the two buildings there. And these are not for airplanes. The buildings aren't even high enough to have that many lights for any kind of reason. There's a lot higher buildings than that all around there. And that antenna is even higher than them. And that doesn't have any lights at all. Then there's the CN tower not too far away. Right here. That doesn't have any lights. So there's no reason for them to have the lights. And there are those really bright lights. They're still on. It's daytime. Like I said, they're on all the time. It's now 6 o'clock, and this is the big tower, the microwave tower, an antenna. I don't know what those things are there. They look like they're hovering right on the tower or the antenna. I'm just going to back off a little bit. You can get a clearer shot. So I don't know what those things are. They're definitely not part of the tower or the antenna. They're just on the antenna. No, the antenna's above them. They're on the tower part, where it looks like some kind of scaffold type tower. Let's see if there's any on the bottom. No, just there. So they look just like the orbs I take videos of in the nighttime, except at nighttime they glow, but they're obviously large. And there's a lot of orbs in the air that are hard to see. All that stuff moving around in the air are the orbs that are transparent, and these are black. So there they are, right alongside or on the scaffold structure of the antenna tower. That antenna is at least 700 feet tall. scaffold structure of the antenna tower. That antenna is at least 700 feet tall. It's taller than some of the buildings down there by the lake. I'm just looking to see if any of them will leave and detach themselves. You can see that there's movement right on the scaffold structure itself right there. And this is daytime. And the tower, that's not normal for that tower. It should be clear like that. And then when you come to them, you have that there. And these are not satellite dishes or anything. They would be visible. I have binoculars, and they're not satellite dishes. That one on top there looks like it's detached from the structure altogether. It's not on it. And the others look like they're right in between the scaffolding. But that one there is not on the one on top is not on it at all, and maybe the one below either. So that's the kind of orbs I'm filming at night, except they glow. And these are the lights that glow so bright. And they're on, and it's daytime. So I don't know what's the reason for all that electricity being laid to waste. But here are the ones on the building. And those are not lights. There are no lights there. They're not lights on the building. So here's the other corner. That's the first corner. And that's where that hat looking thing is, right there. But there's no lights there now, but there's some kind of a shape. So these are not buildings on, I mean lights on a building. These are, there's no lights on the building. But there is a shape there. You can just about make it out, but there's that white orb cluster right there. I'm gonna just tighten this a little bit. So there's the white orb cluster. It's hard to make out, but it's that's my alarm. Okay. Where was I? Yeah, that's the orb cluster. Right there. And you can barely make out that hat-like shape, but you can see that it's not lights on the building. That there's something there, but yet you can't make it out. And it's no kind of light. And these red lights are not on the buildings. Because you would see a solid light, or you would see If it was for airplanes, not like that. But you can see that they look just like at night, except at night you can really see them. There's one. You see how fast that one went by? That's what they're for. For those things that just zoom by like that, that you can barely get a look at how fast they travel, but then they stop immediately or vanish. They can stop dead in place or just vanish. But you just saw one fly by, and that's what those things are. Those lights are, I think, them. Maybe I'll catch one like this with a wider view. Put it down here. But there's a lot of them in the sky. Like just, you can see the movement in the sky. They're transparent. Just like these lights are transparent. And there's really no light there at all. It's really them. There is no light there of any sort. Well, I think those things are just ships and not lights at all, because those buildings just aren't high enough. I mean, if the CN Tower is not lit up in the daytime like that, why would that be? That's nowhere, that's like not even a third of it in height. And just look at how many lights there are. But when you get close to it, there's no light there. Those things are just in the air. They're not attached to the building, and there's nothing there. They're not attached to anything. I'll watch that one. There's another one. Another one just went by real fast. So they're traveling too fast to be birds, and they're not airplanes. And those lights are not real lights. They're not any kind of lamp, and they're not attached to anything. They're not attached to the building. They're just in the middle of the in midair and in the middle of nowhere, really. They're in front of that building and as high as the roof of the building, but they're not attached to the building at all. So, I'm going to move it over just to check out. Now there's that dish that I used to film a lot last year. I filmed a lot of things landing on it or coming off of it. So there's the dish, and it had a lot of activity last year. So something's going on in that area. That's right by the lake. Especially right there. Let's see where the lights. Right around that area. Over here, near, just above the lights, right there. This is where I usually film. Right there. And those lights are not attached to anything. They're in midair. And there's nothing there. There's no light on that building. Those lights are just nowhere on any building. They're just in the midair. I'll watch that one. There's another one. Another one just went by. Real fast. So they're traveling too fast to be birds and they're not airplanes. And those lights are not real lights. They're not any kind of lamp. And they're not attached to anything. They're not attached to the building. They're just in the middle of the, in midair and in the middle of nowhere really. They're in front of that building and as high as the roof of the building, but they're not attached to the building at all. So, I'm gonna move it over just to check out. Now there's that dish that I used to film a lot last year. I filmed a lot of things landing on it or coming off of it. So there's the dish, and it had a lot of activity last year. So something's going on in that area. That's right by the lake. Especially right there. Let's see where the lights. Right around that area. Over here, near, just above the lights, right there. This is where I usually film. Right there. And those lights are not attached to anything. They're in midair. And there's nothing there. There's no light on that building. Those lights are just nowhere on any building. They're just in the midair. They're not attached to anything.